Yo guys, what is up? Moxsy here with IGN, and today we're going over 10 things I wish I knew before sinking 80 plus hours into Palworld. There's so many things that this game doesn't tell you that I wish I knew to get the best start possible, and today I'm going to be sharing everything that I know with you. Hope you enjoy the video. Let's get right into it. So the very first thing I wish I knew has to do with your stats. Now, every time you level up, you get to put one stat point into your stats. However, you cannot respec your stats until level 43. Once again, I am level 41. I've been playing for over 50 hours and I'm still not level 43. So spending your stats wisely is very important. Now, I strongly do not recommend putting any points into your attack power. I just don't think it's worthwhile. Your pals will be doing so much more significant damage than you are, and you only get +2 attack per point. What I do strongly suggest putting points into are HP, stamina, and weight. I think these are the three most important stats. Now, increasing your work speed is really nice, and it'll help you out in early game. For end game, or once you're a bit further into the game, you're gonna find pals that will work way faster than you ever could. And so I personally did not put any points into work speed. I put all of mine into stamina, max health, and weight. At default, you drop all of your items on death, and I didn't want to die, and I didn't want to die to pals while I was mid-attempt to catch them, because it's pretty frustrating. So HP, stamina, and weight are where I invested my most points. The next thing I wish I knew has to do with pal box placement. Now, building your first base is one of the most important aspects of this game, and picking a great location for it is even more important. Now, when I first started playing this game, I put my pal box just about right here, because I didn't know that if you try and place the pal box near water, you will not be able to build foundation or use the space that the pal box extends to in the water. So basically, my very first base, half of it was wasted by water. You're going to want to place your pal box away from water and ideally on the most flat surface you can. Now, when you're placing your base, you're going to really want to try to find places that have ore, rocks, trees, palladium within it in a flat area, because if you place your pal box in an area that has naturally spawning resources, those resources will respawn every day. Meaning if you place your pal box near ore, your pals will just naturally farm ore every single day, which can give you an infinite supply of it. If you're wondering if something is going to be within the range of your pal box, it does show you a little bit of a circle, but as you can see, that circle is pretty hard to tell where it actually is. You can kind of see it faintly over there. Now, this circle extends 35 meters. So one trick that you can do, let's say I wanted to know if this tree was going to be in, or this tree and this palladium was going to be in my base. I can hover over to my character, place a little marker here. Now, when I place that marker is going to be a marker for where my pal box will extend to, and then I can walk away from that marker, and as soon as I'm at the 35 mark, I wouldn't push it. I try to get it around like 30, but I can place my base here comfortably knowing that that palladium, even though I can't see the circle, and that tree will both be inside the perimeter of my base. So that's just a nice little thing that I wish I knew when I was trying to make my first base. The next thing I wish I knew is placement of workstations. Now, your pals, whatever they're working on, will, once they're done working, need to get food. They're going to constantly be needing to get food. And if you place your food really far away from where your workstations are, it's just going to slow down all of your pals, because they're going to spend a lot of time in transit between where their food is and where they need to be. That's why I recommend placing food pots near basically all of the major workstations, whether that be lumbering, whether that be planting, whether that be using the mill or the grinder. Make sure that they've got food near them. You're also going to want to build chests near where your pals are breaking down resources. As you can see, my Warsect is breaking down some wood here, and I built the chest right near the wood tree. I currently have a bazillion wood, and I've got this much wood because I placed a chest next to the wood tree, meaning that my pals that are going to be working on wood will not need to transport the wood all the way across the entire base. If I start putting wood in a different chest, they're not going to transport it across the entire way. So you can build stashes for your ore next to your ore rocks, build stashes for your wood next to your wood, and your pals will be the most efficient and take the less time transporting them. The next thing I wish I knew has to do with the elemental chart. Now, this element chart tells you what is effective against what, and one thing that you'll learn from looking at this chart in the survival guide is that fire is technically the best element in the game. Water is only good against one thing, ice is only good against one thing, and so on and so forth. However, fire is good against ice and grass. What this means is you can build an incredibly effective team with some fire pals, plus water pals to counter if you come across fire, and electric pals to counter if you come across water. But make sure that you bring a strong fire pal or are prioritizing capturing strong fire pals, because they are technically, by the effectiveness, the best element pals to have at your disposal. The next thing I wish I knew is kind of 2 points. The first being that the fastest way to level up is capturing pals, even capturing low-level pals. The bonus that you get for capturing 10 of a certain pal is massive. You're going to earn even level 41. I'm earning a ton of experience for trying to go for that 10 capture bonus. And the pals at the start of the game, the low-level ones, are really, really easy to capture and get that bonus off. You're going to want to capture about 10 of every single pal that you come across that's early on. Now, the other thing that I wish I knew has to do with the back bonus for capturing pals. If you go up behind a pal and throw your pal sphere at it, you're going to get a significantly increased chance of capturing it. Here, I have an 8% chance aiming at its face and a 27% chance it'll pop up as back bonus by throwing it from a pal that is not detecting me, is sleeping, or has its back turned. This means that it's incredibly efficient to try to go out and capture a bunch of pals at night, because at night all the pals will be sleeping and you can capture them very easily by easily getting that back bonus. Obviously, if you can't get that back bonus, that is fine, but a lot of the harder pals, even later on into the game, you might have a better chance of throwing at their back while they're unsuspecting versus getting them to really low health. As you can see, I've captured a lot of Foxy Sparks, so when I capture a Foxy Spark, I get 44 experience for capturing one. If I capture this Reshirar, which I do not have a lot of, I'm going to get 4,000 XP versus 44 XP for a pal that I've already caught 10 of. The XP bonus that you get is just ginormous from capturing pals that you haven't captured 10 of. Now, you might be saying, I need a lot of pal spheres to capture all those pals. Well, that is where Vixy comes in. Vixy is a pal that you can capture in the starting area, and if you assign them to your ranch, they will just drop pal spheres and arrows. There's probably over 50 pal spheres just here. That's over 34 pal spheres. If I check the box, because my pals will be picking up their pal spheres and dropping them in this box, I haven't touched this, I haven't put anything in here. I have almost 300 pal spheres just chilling, waiting for me when I get back. So Vixys are really important to capture early. They also drop arrows. So when we check this chest, I also have over 100 arrows just for free sitting here from capturing these two Vixys and putting them on the ranch. The next thing I wish I knew has to do with your pal condenser. Now, when you're capturing all of these pals, you're going to have extras, and you can infuse those extras into your best version of your pal to power it up. For example, this Gore Rat that I have rolled with Shiny, so it's got plus 15% attack, and it rolled with Hooligan for another plus 15 attack, giving it 30% attack. Its passive, full Gorilla Mode, whenever it's activated, it powers up and gains even more attack. So the extra Gore Rats that I have, I can actually infuse them into my best Gore Rat to give it even more damage. Now, the pal condenser looks like this, and you can do this with all of your pals that you get extra of. It doesn't cost anything besides the lives of the pals that you're sacrificing. For example, I've been leveling up this Fox Sparks that rolled with Musclehead to give it 30% increased damage, and every time that I infuse more Fox Sparks into it, I'm going to increase not only its base stats, but also its passive. So Huggy Fire is its passive, or a special ability that you get to pick up Fox Sparks and use it as a flamethrower. If I infuse more Fox Sparks into it, that flamethrower is gonna get more damage. And this goes for all pals that have a damaging ability. If you have a damaging ability with your pal, if you infuse or condense more pals into it, you can improve the damage of that damaging ability. The next thing I wish I knew has to do with reviving your pals. Now, if your pals ever happen to die or faint, you have to put them in your box, and they need 10 minutes to recover. Now, if you want them back instantly, if it's ever nighttime or your pal's fainted and it's nighttime, or you wait till nighttime, if you put the pal in your party, I don't have a fainted pal right now, but if you put the pal in your party and go to sleep at nighttime, you actually need to fall asleep, the pal will be instantly revived and in your party, ready to go and fight more. And the very last thing I wish I knew is how important it is to be marking your map. This game has tons of dungeons scattered throughout it, and the dungeons never ever appear on your map. So if you ever come across a dungeon, they're great sources of getting ancient technology points, which you're going to need for the right side of the skill tree, and you will not be able to relocate these dungeons if you don't mark it on your map, or at least you can make your life a lot easier by marketing it. This same thing comes with resources. For example, I was just wandering and I found this hill with all of these ore nodes. I can mark it as a mining spot, and now I know that if I'm out of ore or I need to build a base that's focused on ore, this is a really great spot to come, as there's all of this natural spawning ore. This is some of the most I've ever seen in a single spot, and now I've got this marker with the mining, so I know that I can come back here. Just making use of your map will make your life so much easier. That is going to do it for the video. For all things Palworld, stay tuned here at IGN.